Meg Nielsen.
Hello, good evening. So I'm a farmer from Bentley, and every day we see the impacts of climate destabilisation. This is the reality. It's all around us. Our entire ecosystem is affected, and unpredictable weather events threaten our ability to grow food for Australia and the rest of the world. So my question is, don't we need to ignore the fossil fuel donors and the lobbyists and have a good bipartisan policy to reduce emissions, encourage the uptake of renewable energies and protect our ability to grow the nation's food?
Fiona, I'll start with you.
Clearly a popular topic.
Question's got a hand up, so jump up, Meg.
Yeah. I do agree. What we do need a strong national energy guarantee. Unfortunately, the terms that we've got at the moment just don't do the trick. Unfortunately, they don't. The emissions targets are too low, and so therefore we're not able to encourage the use of renewables pretty much any further than they are currently this year. And unfortunately, what it does is it encourages the use of coal and gas to continue in business as usual. And it's
so,
not...
Meg, can I just interrupt? From the beginning of your question, your original question, I took it that you're essentially saying this drought is related to climate change, man-made climate change. Is that...
Yes, I believe so. I think I know that Australia has always had droughts. I know that the whole world has always had droughts, but we only have to look around the world to see the events that are happening now. The Arctic Circle, wildfires. I mean, it's very clear that all these effects of our weather are being affected by climate change.
David, thank you very much, Meg. David, do you accept that, first of all, that principle?
Let me say that farmers have been dealing with the changing climate since we first put a till in the soil. It's been changing since we first started agriculture, and we've been adapting.
So, David, the fundamental question is whether man-made climate change is causing droughts like the one we're seeing now. That's what Meg is suggesting.
Well, look... that's a big call. Look, the reality is I don't really give a rat's whether it's man-made or not. If we want to go to renewables, if we move to renewables for a healthier environment, to breathe better air, well, that's great. Let's do it. But let's do it in a responsible way that we can all afford. And we can transition that, but we can't do that at the moment. And we've got to be able to turn the lights on, turn the pumps on, and be able to afford. Because you know what the biggest thing is I get out there? And I talk to pensioners in my own electorate in Warwick. It's cold at the moment, bloody cold. They can't afford to put the heater on. And you know what? It's got to be reliable. It's got to be reliable. And
hang on, sorry, you're going to have to let the minister speak so you can hear what he's got to say.
Look, that's a great aspiration, but at the moment it's got to be reliable, it's got to be sustainable, and it's got to be affordable. And we've got a responsibility to make sure that we do that in a responsible way. Now, we're doing that through the NEG and working through that to make sure that we do have an energy policy that meets our international commitments, but make sure to each and every one of you, you can afford to turn on the lights, a fundamental right for each and every one of us in a developed country like this, that you shouldn't feel afraid to turn on a heater or a light at night.
Quick question, so we're talking about the NEG. So are you happy, personally, to put in place a mechanism that future governments can use to increase the emissions targets? Because that's the core. I think Fiona suggested that's the case. The question has suggested that should happen.
Well, look, the reality with energy is the market should decide. We should put in place an environment for the market to decide. That's what we're doing, and that's what we should do. Because if renewables come cheaper, then they will overtake. But we've got to be able to provide baseload power as well.
Okay, let's quickly hear from the other panellists.